sorry I am late on these Jupiter and Taurus videos and readings of what this transit is going to mean for you and your signs. I just did a longer video about why I'm taking longer about this, like what I actually want to accomplish with creating a social media presence and YouTube channel that actually can help you with your self-autonomy, your self-agency, and your self-understanding with astrology, so that it's not just someone telling you, oh, blah, blah, blah planet is here and blah, blah, blah planet is there and yay, or oh, terrible. Like, how does that really actually help you with astrology, right? And it's one of the things that kind of frustrated me for a long time listening to astrology, and still kind of does now that, you know, I am a professional astrologer and do more readings and work in that area. So I want to give you things that are actually useful. Hi, Sun in Taurus, Mars in Taurus. Tools that are actually useful for your life. So Jupiter, as you probably know by now, moved into Taurus on Tuesday, May the 16th, and that is Pacific Standard Time. Adjust if you were somewhere else in the world. It might have been a little bit earlier for you. And it's going to be there until May the 25th of 2024. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's about luck. It's about wisdom. It's about creating opportunities and getting just rewards. Now I'm going to say just rewards because Jupiter will reward you depending on what you have and have not been doing with your integrity. And that planet is moving into the sign of Taurus. And Taurus, amongst many things, is all about building things that last. And it's about creating and understanding self-value and self-worth, which is a huge theme right now in the sky astrologically, is knowing your worth and knowing your value going forward. Because we are in some crazy astrological times that no one has seen in literally hundreds of years. And society is in a whole different place since the last time these planets were in the positions they were in. So we're at a space of new reckoning and new understanding. And that's why these transits are such a big deal. So what you want to think about during this transit, now Jupiter spends about 1 year per sign approximately, so about 12 years to make it all the way around. So you may be seeing some themes repeated or coming back up for examination during this time that happened around 2011, 2012. You may not. You may have been closing out these cycles already, but we're going to throw it out there. So what you want to think about during this transit is creating new opportunities that reflect your self-worth, that reflect value, that reflect things that are sustainable, okay? And what you want to watch out for is overinflation, right? Doing too much, overexertion, overextension. And you want to be aware that with Uranus in this sign of Taurus, it's like the Wheel of Fortune. So again, what you've been putting out, you're going to get back. And you want to be aware that Uranus is going to ask you to level up. It's going to ask you to leave behind your comfort zone, which Taurus is not a fan of. Okay, Taurus likes to build things for security. It's one of the signs of security. Taurus and Scorpio are part of the security axis, but it has to do more with material security and self-worth security. Taurus, Scorpio is more other people's wealth and security with merging with another person. Okay, and that's where the nodes are right now. As a reminder, the North Node is in Taurus and the South Node is in Scorpio. So that's kind of the energy that we're playing with here. And what is kind of more unique about this transit is that it's going to be square Pluto and Aquarius. Okay, Pluto and Aquarius we haven't seen since the late 1700s. And at that time, Uranus, which is the modern ruler of Aquarius, was just coming into the human psyche in our current evolution. So we're just becoming aware of its energy again in our current humanistic evolution. And what that planet represents is change, evolution, genius energy, out with the old, in with the new, technological advancements, being able to see the big picture, being able to see things from far away, being able to go into outer space, to be able to go beyond where you've ever been before. All of these things are part of Uranus's world. And Uranus is a co-ruler along with Saturn of Aquarius. Now, Saturn is currently in Pisces, and Saturn doesn't really like being in Pisces because Pisces is very ethereal. It's like trying to grab a hold of mist, right? That's not that easy. The mist kind of dissolves. It doesn't really stay. And Saturn likes things that stay, that last, that are like this concrete in front of me. That's Saturn right here. I know the boundary edge of this pool is right here. And Pisces is like, nah, but what if the boundary kind of dissolved like cotton candy? What if there is no separation between me and you and the cosmos and everything else, right? So Saturn's like, oh my God, are you serious? So these two energies are a little bit conflicting, but the beauty of this energy is that Saturn is going to want to create new visions, new constructs with spirituality, new places where you feel more aligned with your authentic self. Because remember, I just said Saturn is also one of the rulers of Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about personal individuation and authenticity. So Saturn is going to help you build those things, provided you're actually in the game to make those things a reality. Okay, if you're not, it's going to be a problem. So make sure whatever you're trying to expand, whatever you want Jupiter to bring you luck in, is really aligned with your authenticity, okay, and your spiritual path. Remember, spiritual path doesn't mean like, you wear 10,000 crystals and you do yoga and you're vegan and you live in a cave and you regularly contact an ashram in Tibet. That's not what spirituality is. It can be a part of it, but that's not what it only is, okay? It's about being in alignment with what your soul came to accomplish in this lifetime. That's what spirituality really is. So all that energy is being emphasized by a grand fixed cross. So what the heck does that even mean? So fixed energy are the energies in astrology that have to do with bringing something to its highest point, its apex, its sustainability, building something to it the best it can be so that it'll last forever and ever. Okay, that's the theory. Now, that doesn't, of course, work in the long run because we have three modalities in astrology. One is cardinal, that starts things off, it initiates it. The fixed energies follow it up and say, okay, I'm taking that thing you started, I'm gonna make it the most badass it could ever be. And the mutable signs follow that up. And the mutable signs share that energy and they kind of deconstruct it at the same time. So we have those three cycles: start, make it the best, share it, deconstruct it. And they happen over and over again throughout the zodiac. And so right now we have a grand fixed cross, meaning that there's 4 planets, there's 4 points that are important that are hitting all 4 of the fixed signs, which are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. Okay, all of these signs are concerned with the best of the best, building sustainability, building things that last, and building things that are the apex of what they could be. So when we have a cross, it means that we have 2 opposing energies, so it makes an X. Okay, that's the cross part. And those things are pulling in different directions. Okay, then we have the square, which makes a box around it. And square energy is a 90-degree angle, meaning that we take 2 energies and we push them up against each other so that we create a dynamic tension for evolution, for growth. Think of it like a seed, right? When a seed is growing, it has to push against its shell until it sprouts. It has to push against the earth until it grows, right? That's really what this tension is doing. And sometimes that tension is easy, sometimes it's challenging. And that's part of what we're going to be going through right now. So if you're on your path, you've been doing the work, you're moving forward, you're still going to meet challenges, you're still going to meet tension, you're still going to meet your fears, but it'll be a little bit easier to move through. If you're like way off track, this is going to be a little bit of a rough time period for you. Not because you're being punished, not because someone is doing something to you, but because you need to be more in alignment with your authentic soul path, with how you can contribute to society, with what you came here to do. If you're not doing those things, this transit's going to be a little bit uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable. It just depends. But there's also so many opportunities to leap forward, to skyrocket forward, and to change your trajectory into a much better place. So what does that look like for your sign? I'm going to go through all 12 signs, but I'm going to do it, well, I like to do it with rising signs. Rising signs make much more sense because they happen to correlate with what area of life known as the houses. So if you look in the astrology wheel, it's all cut up into all these pie pieces, like Trivial Pursuit, if that makes sense to you. Pie if it doesn't. Pizza if that makes more sense. Oh, yay. Great. Siri's spying on me. Anyway, of course, all of our devices are spying on us, but that's something for another time. I'm going to get kicked off the socials for that. Anyhow, okay, so your rising sign is going to tell you more specifically where this energy is in your personal chart. If you don't know your rising sign, it's okay to use your sun sign because most people know that, okay? So here we go, all 12 of those in a small, brief nutshell. So, Aries, rising and sun. This transit's going to go through your second house. Now, this is Taurus's home base in the natural zodiac, meaning this is going to really reflect your relationship with your finances, your resources, your worth, and your value. Okay, so look for where you can create money, worth, value, confidence, all of those things in new ways. If you're having trouble here, take a look at why. How can you make positive changes? Because this is a time where you can make quantum leaps forward in changing things that are not working for you, okay? And also, while we're looking at all these things, be open to innovation or unexpected changes, right? Because sometimes the best things happen to us that we never saw coming, right? So be open to that here. Taurus, rising and sun. Oh my gosh. So this one is covering your first house. Now, this is the house of self. This is expansion, wisdom, luck in all matters of your personal identity. Okay, your self-love, your growth, your consciousness, your independence, your value, your self-reliance. Focus on what you want to create or expand in these areas and use the resources and talents you have innately. Okay, use the resources and talents that you have been growing over the past year when the North Node has been in your sign. What wisdom have you gained over the past year and about a half that will help you actualize your dreams? Now is the time to put it to use. Gemini rising and Gemini sun. This transit is going on in your 12th house. So the 12th house is the natural house for Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter co-rules Pisces and Sagittarius. 12th house is the Pisces natural house. So here your abundance and your luck is truly going to come from your connection to spirit and to your spiritual alignment. Okay. Your psychic attunement, your intuition, your sensitivity may really be heightened during this time. Or you may also need to feel like you can connect to these energies more fully. And that might look like taking more time away for yourself, spending more time out in nature, spending more time, maybe more in isolation or away from your usual daily routine and demands, so that you can really get the most out of this transit. Cancer rising and Cancer sun. So this transit is going to affect your 11th house. And the 11th house has to deal with your friendships, your groups, your social engagements, your places and spaces where you use technology, where you're looking at the future, where you're looking at your hopes and dreams. So there's a lot going on here in this house. The internet, technology, or social media might really help you to get a boost with whatever you're trying to build at this time, okay? So don't be afraid of it. Remember, it's a tool like anything else. It's positive or negative, depends on how you use it. Also, your help and your abundance, it may come through your social engagements and through your friends. So pay attention to your connections and who you're spending time with, whether it's positive or negative. Take a look at that. What are you manifesting? What's coming forward for you? Do you feel like the people you're associating with actually get you and are helping you move forward? Or, are they kind of making you feel like you're less than? Take a look at those things, because it's going to be really important over the next year. Leo rising and Leo sun. All right, Leos, this is a big one for you. This one's covering your 10th house. So your 10th house is the house of your career, your social status, and your legacies. Changes, promotions, expansion, or unexpected shifts could be especially prevalent over the next year. Now, if you're going to get anywhere in this life, kind of like the 11th house, but a little bit different. You have to be aware of who you are spending time with and how you're treating people. So if you're in a position of authority,
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm gonna take this thing off. If you're in a position of authority, you may be finding yourself in places and spaces where that authority is getting challenged. Okay, how are you going to treat the people who you work with? How are you going to treat the people who are potentially, below you? Are you the owner of a company? Are you in a managerial position? How do you treat the people that are entry-level position, that have just started with a company, that are doing something that, maybe isn't the CEO status? What are you doing with those people? Because how you treat them is also going to reflect back on what you get. Okay. And if you're in a position where you're working for a company that maybe doesn't align with your values or where you're going, you're gonna have a lot more challenges in this area. So if you're getting tons of pushback, maybe you need to look at being in a new place. And keep that in mind over the next year. Virgo, rising and sun. So this transit's going to happen in your 9th house, which is the other home base for Jupiter, because this is Sagittarius's natural house. With Jupiter in one of its home turf places, this time in Sagittarius, this has to do with your beliefs, your wisdom, and your long distance travel or your contacts with people who are far away, maybe in a foreign space from you, or again, cultures that are holding different viewpoints from what you grew up with. So you may find that interacting with different cultures, people from different cultures, faraway places, things like that, are really beneficial to you. It may be also a really great time to go back to school or to look into gaining more knowledge or wisdom. Things that have to do with law, that have to do with philosophy, those things will also really be highlighted for you. If you are thinking about moving abroad, it's a good time to at least check it out. Okay, depending on your astrological chart, it may or may not be a good thing for you to actually move. Don't just get up and leave everything behind with no plan. Okay, Taurus likes a plan. Taurus does not want to be out there on the raw and ragged edge going, oh shit, now what? So, don't be rash. Remember, Taurus is slow, it's methodical, but it builds things that last. So take a little bit of time before you decide to move if that's something that's new to you. Libra rising and Libra sun. This transit is happening in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is one of the most mysterious houses in the zodiac. This is Pluto's house and this is Scorpio's house. So this house deals a lot with transformation. Okay, you might have deep psychological insights or breakthroughs. It's also the house of other people's resources. Okay, so this may be a good time to invest. This may be a good time to find venture capitalists. This may be a good time for windfalls or inheritances or things like that. Now, remember, this is not financial advice, so don't go out there and just willy-nilly do shit, okay? Make sure you're being smart. Make sure you're using discernment. Don't just take something, whether I said or anyone else said on the internet, and just, invest your life savings in a get-rich-quick scheme, because that never works for anyone, okay? So following up on that, watch out for things that are too good to be true. If you've been finding there's a part of your life that needs regeneration or has been kind of feeling like it's dying off, right? Like a branch that needs to be pruned back on a tree, this is a good time to do that. And you may find it's way easier to reinvent those areas that have been dying off. All right, Scorpio, rising and sun. This transit is going through your 7th house. And 7th house is the house that's all about relationships. It's about our one-on-one relationships in particular. So whatever those relationships are, whether they're romantic, whether that has to do with a marriage partner, whether that has to do with a business partner, this is a deep connection, okay? It might also have to do with, because this house does cover open enemies. I didn't talk about the 12th house in this way, but 12th house is kind of like secret enemies, people that are doing things behind your back, which may be exposed during this time. Going back to Scorpio, there may come up something during this time where someone who's been working against you gets brought to light. So this could be a really big blessing though, because remember, we do have Jupiter here. So maybe it has to do with a business partnership and someone has been, like let's say you have your own business and there's someone on maybe your board of directors. And they've really not been on board with your mission. They've really not been there, but they've been smiling to your face and saying, oh my God, this is so great. You're so great. But secretly they're not really, there. This time could light that up and it could show you, hey, this person, maybe they're not a bad person, but they're really just not there in your space. It's a good time to wish them well and move them on, right? It could also be a time where if you're in a relationship or in a long-term partnership or attached, that maybe you go to the next level, whatever that means for you. This is a time where you're deepening your partnerships, you're deepening your relationships, you're deepening your capacity to merge with another person. Because remember, Scorpio really wants to merge with other people and create almost like a super sense of self, right? So just make sure that whomever or whatever it is you are merging your energy with is actually worth it, because Jupiter will expand, right? Jupiter will blow up things. And if it's not the right energy, do you really want that to get bigger and bigger and bigger? Probably not. But if it does happen, just take that as a, ooh, I'm not manifesting what it is I really want. Let me go back to myself, my self-worth, because yes, that does apply to Scorpio as well, and fix whatever needs to be fixed, okay? Sagittarius, rising and sun. This transit is happening in your 6th house of health and daily routine. So with your health and daily routine, be mindful of overdoing, overextending, or overexerting yourself, okay? If you're finding your energy, your physicalness feels depleted, you're overdoing something. Something is over. Something is too much. Okay, if you need a little boost here, it's going to be a great time to implement new routines that have to do with taking care of yourself, your daily routine, your workplace, your coworkers, and even your pets, because this is also the house of pets. So if you've been wanting to get, maybe a new puppers or a turtle or a fish or whatever, this might be a really great time for that. Make sure, this is the 6th house. This house is one of the houses that's a little bit tricky. Make sure that you're analyzing and integrating systems that actually work for you. that actually make sense, that actually make your life better. Okay, be careful of doing things in the sense where you're only ever serving the other. Make sure that you're on your priority list too, okay? So, Capricorn rising and sun. This transit is going to hit your 5th house. And that means it's time to get creative. Have some fun. Capricorn, have some freaking fun, okay? It's time to carve out time, spaces, places, people to play with, people to get creative with, right? Capricorns, you know the secret to success is including play as a part of your creative process. And it may be the very thing that you need to catapult yourself into your next achievement. All right. Now, this is also a good time for romance, and it may be a time where children, including your inner child, so if you don't have any, physical children, maybe it's you that needs this help, might be highlighted. So make sure you carve out some time to have some damn fun already. Aquarius, rising and sun. This transit is in your 4th house, okay? And this 4th house is all about home, it's about roots, it's about family, and it's about your emotional security. The key to success here is going to be embracing your self-worth, your values, your talents, and your resources. It may be some time to make some changes on your home front, whether it's redecorating, maybe it's cleaning some spaces up, maybe it's, making some changes about who makes dinner, or maybe it's you that needs to make dinner. Maybe you need to eat out once in a while. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's a good time to make some changes so that you feel more solid and secure in here. Okay? Whatever that is, it might be your literal place you call home. It may be you. Remember, Cancer is the natural sign of the 4th house. Cancer is the crab that takes its home, which is its shell, everywhere it goes. So you are always home no matter where you are. Make sure you're tending to what's in here so that when you go out there, it's easier. Okay? And last but certainly not least is Pisces rising and Pisces sun. This transit's going to be in your 3rd house. The 3rd house is all about sharing. It's all about communication. And it's all about getting curious. So those areas in particular are going to get a boost during this transit. You may find yourself getting more involved in your neighborhood, or if you have any siblings, they may be a little bit more on the forefront during this time as well. Okay, follow your curiosity and see where it leads you. You may get some wonderful surprises that lead you down a new solid path. You also may be getting called upon to help other people that are building things. Gemini, you're really, really, really good at sharing. You're really, really, really good at being a jack of all trades. You're really, really, really good at knowing things that other people want, connecting the dots, right? So you might be getting called upon a little bit more than, maybe usual to help connect people, places, and things, whether it's in your life or in other people's lives. But you have a really important job coming up. So get curious, follow it, do your sharing. All right, I hope that was helpful for all of you. Have a wonderful Jupiter in Taurus transit, and I'll see you soon for the new moon in Taurus predictions coming up tomorrow. Take care. Bye.